Welcome back to Daily Wrap. It's potluck time, part of the show, as we were saying earlier, where we go around the table, Rick, and we share our favorite stories of the day. If you're wearing red, you get to go first. Look at that. Wow.
Not me. Must be you.
It's all me.
You little beat.
You know I love the little beat. So my story today is about Sofia Vergara, who is in a big battle with her ex-boyfriend, Nick Loeb, I think is his name.
Who is Sofia Vergara?
Sofia Vergara is a gorgeous actress who is on Modern Family, amongst other things, and she is on a lot of commercials. She has a line for Kmart. She's done extremely well.
Okay, let me be clear. I know who she is. I was saying
just
for the
wanna make
audience at home,
sure.
there we go. We're
They
queuing
know
her.
That's her.
She's not attractive. All right, keep going.
Not at
She
all.
dated a guy for a couple of years, and they were together, and they planned to have children together. And as part of that plan, she didn't want to carry the children, so they took her egg and his sperm and created some embryos and planned to have them implanted into a surrogate as when they decided to get married. When they broke up, these embryos still existed. Now, the paperwork that they signed at the fertility clinic allowed for, if one of them were to die, the embryos would be destroyed. It did not allow for if they were to break up. Huge problem, fertility clinic. If you're a fertility clinic, you've got to make sure you cover that problem.
Right.
So it's not covered. But it gets into a really interesting issue of the law and just policy, because his position is, these are my children. These are embryos. I'm Catholic, and I believe that life begins at conception. And so therefore, they are mine, and you cannot destroy them. And so he's objecting to them being destroyed. Sophia's position is, I don't want these children. I don't want to be a parent. I don't want my children running around. Now, the law is pretty clear, because this has become a more common thing, and it will be more common in the future. The law says if you agree, fine, whatever you agree to. If you don't agree, the documentation rules the day. No documentation here. The final step is, if you don't agree and one parent does not want to be a parent, chances are the law is going to go with that parent, because they're not going to force parenthood on someone who doesn't want to be a parent. Which you can understand, but at the same time, you look at someone like this man who wants these children,
Right.
They are his children, and you can understand why he would
Well,
have a major objection
Yeah,
to this.
because while they're not forcing the one parent to be a parent, they're
No.
denying the other one the right to be a parent. That's really a tricky, messy legal question.
It goes back to my point, is that there are so many children who need homes in the world who have nowhere. They're orphans. Why not adopt? Why get into this position where, in Hollywood, the chance of you staying together for more than 6 months is like, the odds
It's
are
14%.
Yeah,
It
exactly. So you do this thing. It's really narcissism run rampant. I think both of them should be scolded for this. And you know what, guys? Do it the old-fashioned way, and then if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, at least for this couple.
Heather, last word.
It will not be the last case we see like this, for sure.
Yeah.
Probably not. Can we get Sophia up one more time? Because I want to make a quick point.
Yeah, but she's cutting into my time.
That's right.
She is 42 years old. I just looked it
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
She looks like a 24-year-old girl.
Yep.
I mean, it's just amazing. Isn't she dating the wolf now
Yes,
from the True
and
Blood?
they're engaged.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is
imagine-
another part of the problem.
Yeah.
No more
No, they
embryos.
can't adopt. I got to see what that couple produces.
Right, that's true.
You know, what a joke. Wow. Let's stay a little longer. A little longer. Okay.
there's a different one. There's a different
Ricky, let's go.
no,
to
no,
you.
Whatever you have to say
now
now
you want me
can't
to
be
follow
that
that?
good.
Really?
Beautiful woman to a
Really?
beautiful man.
So, Sofia Vergara, no. Look, most Americans today feel that the federal government has gotten a bit bloated. They're not very good at what they do anymore, and I got to admit that they're right. So what you see happening in our history, in times like this, there is this kind of ebb and flow. And as we become more unhappy with the federal government, we start to see state government taking on more and more authority, more and more power, and that's been going on. But there's a problem. This makes a lot of people who are small government, state government supporters, makes them happy. The problem is that those who are in state government are becoming so abusive of this power by trying to use it to force social agendas that they are going to ruin the opportunity that conservatives have to see it keep shifting in that direction. Today's case in point. The great state of Tennessee, the legislature has voted today to make the Bible the official book of Tennessee. Now, they did this despite the fact that the state's attorney general made it very clear in an opinion that not only did he believe that it was unconstitutional for the Bible to be a state book, but that the money they would spend to get to that decision, because there will be litigation, was just wasting taxpayer money. Not a bad point. The governor popped up and said, this is so disrespectful to people who believe in the Bible. It's not a book, it's the Word of God. And you're putting it right next to the state flower and this and that.
Wow.
This is what you see legislators doing. You guys want to see power shift to the states? You need to stop these people, or stop electing these people who were making a mockery of it by forcing silly agendas.
And shining a light on it, like you just did, is a good way to do that,
Well,
no
one
question.
hopes.
By the way, we have the official book of the Daily Wrap.
That's right.
It is
We all
Exposed,
have
The Secret Life of Jodi Arias. Anyway,
By
Written
Jane-
by-
back with
written
more
by-
Daily Wrap in just a moment. And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. I'm your host, Joe Concha. If you're just joining us, we're in the middle of our potluck where we share our favorite stories of the day, and it's my turn. I'm going to talk about Harry Reid again and his Just Desserts. Rick brought it up before. So, as we've seen, Mr. Reid has an eye injury, actually had to go in for surgery. He says that he fell in the bathroom with his wife as his witness. No one's really doubting that. But Rush Limbaugh did a very, very shrewd thing on the radio about 2 days ago. And he said that I heard that Reid was actually beaten up by the mafia. And mobsters actually beat the heck out of him and actually knocked his eye actually out of its socket, right? And he just says, well, that's what I heard. So then let's put up the quote and the response from Harry Reid, who took the bait perfectly. It shows the credibility of Rush Limbaugh. He's a guy that's got all this started. Why in the world would he come up with a story that I got hurt in my own bathroom with my wife standing there? How could anyone say anything like that? I think a lot of people that I read kind of don't like me as a person. I think that's unfortunate. Remember that one line in there right there where he says, how could somebody say something about me like that?
Right.
Well, that's funny because I remember when this happened back in 2012.
Let him prove that he has paid taxes, because he hasn't.
No, I don't regret that at all. The Koch brothers, no one would help me. They were afraid the Koch brothers would go after them. So I did it on my own.
So no regrets about Mitt Romney, about the Koch brothers. 'Cause some people have even called it McCarthyite.
Well, they call it whatever they want. Romney didn't win, did he?
So it's a means to an end. He basically made up something to muddy the waters to make Mitt Romney look like a tax cheat, and now basically is admitting, yeah, I made the whole thing up, and now can't believe that Rush Limbaugh would make up something about him and his eye injury, and then he is stupid enough, and I will say that, to take the bait and say, how can anybody say that I would ever make up anything like that? Because you make up stuff as well, Mr. Reid. Mr. Unger.
I don't know if Harry Reid made up the story about Mitt Romney, or if, as he says, somebody who would know gave him the information. It doesn't matter. What matters is it was wrong. Right. Now, you can be mistaken, but when you're mistaken, you stand up and you say, really sorry, I got information I thought was accurate. I was wrong. You don't say, he lost the election, didn't he? Who cares? Really, really foul. And you know what? Listen, if Rush Limbaugh says a year from now, Harry Reid's out of office, isn't he? Harry Reid's going to have nothing to say about it.
Rush is basically saying, well, it's what I heard. In other words, he's admitting that he's making
doing
it up.
the same thing.
Yeah, and the fact that Reid couldn't read into it,
Yeah,
he just took the
right.
bait and actually had to respond. It's amazing. Heather, quick thought.
No, I just think that he is really, really showing himself to be a bad thing
Guy.
going forward. Going forward, he's just going to look bad, and he's going to do a lot of bad things.
Okay.
Well,
Now
I'll
what's-
tell you what
go
makes
ahead.
him look bad is those sunglasses. I don't know whether
I
it's
like the
channeling
sunglasses.
the Blues Brothers or who knows who advised him to keep talking on camera when he's got this black eye. He looks like a villain from a bad James Bond movie.
That's a very good point. He does kind of look like
No,
Dr.
that's it.
Evil.
I like,
in a
it,
roundabout
I
sort
like
of
it
way.
better with the full sunglasses on.
Indeed.
Yeah, the full sunglasses are
It's
definitely
cooler.
a better look.
So Harry Reid is bad, but what is good, by the way, and we want to show it once again. We're all holding him up
Oh,
right
come on.
now.
Come on,
The
give us
Secret
the
Life
camera.
of Jodi Arias
There it is.
Exposed. It's got trials and it's got lots of, not stuff for the kids sort of thing,
Nasty.
but it is a New York Times bestseller.
And it's written by
Jane Velez Mitchell.
Still.
Correct. Let's give the author, by the way. By the way, that means you're up.
Oh, well, I went to NYU, so when I saw this on the front page of the New York Times today, it caught my eye, and I actually heard about it last spring when the story first broke. NYU decided to build a campus in the United Arab Emirates, which is a bad idea to begin with because of their that country's horrible record on women and a lot of other things. And it turns out that 10,000 workers were deprived of their basic labor rights during the construction, and many lived in miserable conditions, and they had to pay fees to get the jobs, and just one horror story after the other. Now, NYU has apologized, and there was a big investigation, but still, I'm asking, as somebody who graduated from NYU, why are you building in the United Arab Emirates? The Sharia law is practiced there, and that means that people are flogged, and they are flogged for kissing in public. They are stoned for premarital sex. I mean, why are we putting our resources, why is this university putting its resources in such a backward and discriminatory country? And I must say that the United Arab Emirates has a reputation for misusing its workers. So they say they didn't know, but they should have been hypervigilant.
Can I make I'm just speculating here, but maybe they're doing it because they're getting some nice donations
Do you
from
think?
a very
Yeah. Do you
rich
think
You think
country.
it's happening in Abu Dhabi? I happen to know the attorney for the royal family there, and I know the donations they make and what they do to bring American enterprises over there.
It's
So
a shame. I didn't think NYU, an institution like that, they're the violets, right?
Well, when I went there, we didn't have all that stuff. It was a city campus.
I just thought the mascot was the violets. I could be wrong on that then. Anyway, all the time we have for potluck. When we come back, it's our best part of the show, Yay or Nay. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax.